Welcome to the Fantasy Champions Fantasy Football Podcast. Here's your host, Morgan Colby and Rick Lemon.
What's going on, Fantasy Champs? We got football on today. Or tomorrow. Because I think I posted this on Wednesday.
And it's a game that nobody wants to watch.
Was it 5-7 at 3-9?
Yeah.
Wow. Major playoff.
And it's funny because in the beginning of the year, the schedule makers probably made this and was like, this could be a really good game.
This could be a monster game.
Raiders fighting for the playoffs versus the best team in the NFC.
I think it's kind of funny looking back. Like, the Patriots were supposed to play the Raiders on Sunday Night Football before that was flexed out. We talked about that on the last show. And I think they thought that was going to be a big playoff implication game, which it is to an extent. Yeah, big playoff implication game. Like the Raiders could get back into the hunt if they beat the Pats in that game, right? And the Pats need to get the win in order to to keep themselves afloat and maybe potentially have a shot at this.
Both teams will most likely be playing that game for their playoff flags.
Yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what's going on with that, unless the Raiders poop out this week and lose. Then Josh McDaniels is trying to tank the Patriots' hopes and dreams. But either way, and then you get to later in the season, and it's like, this game blows.
Yeah, it really does.
Like, how the mighty have fallen for the Rams. You think Aaron Donald's sitting there going, why did I come back? Probably. Like, he's done. He's going to retire.
Yeah. Well, he's out for the season, too, I think.
Is he really?
So we might have seen the last. That's what, dude, this Rams team is so bad. Like, they have Jalen Ramsey still in there, which is great. Mm-hmm. But Matt Stafford, Cooper Kupp, Allen Robinson, Aaron Donald are all not playing.
Yeah.
This is like a CFL level team right now.
Wow.
Although they did almost beat the Seahawks.
That's aggressive. CFL
okay,
team.
so maybe they're not that bad because they're better than the Houston Texans, but this
anyway,
team blows. They are bad.
This game kicks off Week 14. Hopefully it kicks off Week 14 in an entertainment kind of way. I'm yawning because I already know this game's going to be boring. But you know what? I said this at the beginning of the season. This game may be bad, but it's football. And in 5 weeks, there will be no more fantasy football. And in just under 2 months, there will be no football, period. So I'm going to just enjoy what I got before it's gone. Even if it sucks as bad as this game does.
Right.
Thursday Night Football preview for Week 14 is what we're going to get to in this game. We're going to talk about some of the matchups for the Rams, for the Raiders, and see if you should be starting anyone from either of these teams, which there's guys that you should definitely be starting. Some interesting matchups.
There's a couple.
But before we do that, check out our website, fantasychampions.com. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, or any other podcasting platforms, please leave a review and share this podcast with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. Click the bell for noties, and let us know in the comments. Any questions you have for this Thursday night preview. Or if you have games on Thursday night that you want us to get to. I don't like starting players on Thursday night. It makes me kind of sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
I turn into like a fat guy in like a freaking sauna. And I'm like, oh, frick. I don't want to play any of these guys. They all suck.
This week, though, you're going to have guys that you probably play no matter what.
Yes. Yeah, definitely for one team at least. So we'll start with the Raiders because they're the road squad. Is that correct? The road team?
Yeah, they're the road team.
Here we go. I got that right. So let's start with Derek Carr. I'm in an interesting situation here. Frick me. Justin Fields is on a bye week this week, so I got to go with Derek Carr in my home league. Got to go with Derek Carr.
Oh, so you do got to start Thursday night.
See, this is what I'm talking about. I'm already getting like freaking. I might stream. I might just drop Derek Carr. Derek Carr's actually been really good. He had a stretch of games. Beginning of the season, 18, 20, 22, 11, 19. So the 11-point game obviously bad, but he had a stretch of games where he was really good against easy matchups, and then he had 14 and 2 after his bye week, and that was just really not good. But then since then, 20, 19, 22, 25, and 19. So this matchup against the Rams, not necessarily an easy matchup for him. The pass D for the Rams has been kind of middling this year. But he's been, where is he ranked on the season? 9th? No, that's wrong. He's 14th. So he's
14,
he's a good like low end high end QB2, low end QB1. And can give you like a 17, 18 point performance. He doesn't provide any rushing upside or any rushing floor. So, you're all basically relying at this point on Derek Carr's ability
Pure
to throw
pocket passer.
Pure pocket passer. You're relying on his situation to throw touchdowns, which is what has kind of turned around his hopes and dreams this year. In terms of fantasy football after those 2 horrible games against Houston and New Orleans. But I would be okay starting him this week. He's better than anything you have on the waiver wire. So,
yeah, I would agree. I think, like for your case, you said you were thinking about streaming guys. I don't know if there's anybody out there that you're going to get that's better than Derek Carr for streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's probably a low-end QB1. Low end, so he's like QB 12, 11 or 12, but still pretty solid. The Rams is a yellow matchup on Sleeper, but their defense has been trending downwards with some of their injuries. So I actually think it's an okay matchup. And the way Carr's been playing, he's been solid. So I would definitely roll out, start Derek Carr, obviously, unless you got a better option. But for like your example, you got Justin Fields on the bye. It's either Carr or stream. I'd go Carr.
All right, I hate Thursday Night Football because he's probably going to get like 10 points. I'm going to be sitting there screaming at my television going, why do I...
Are you going to... So you got to root for the Rams for the Patriots' sake, but you got to root for the Raiders for your fantasy team.
Yeah, which is totally easy to do.
Okay. Just high-scoring game.
Just 2 touchdowns. 2 passing touchdowns for Derek Carr, and I'm good.
What if he's at 1 touchdown, and the Raiders need 1 more touchdown to win the game?
Frick it. I'm going for a fantasy championship.
Okay.
Frick the Patriots. My fantasy team matters more at this point. I have 6 Super Bowls I can look back on.
Wow. My dad would be so disappointed in that sentence.
In all senses of the phrase. Running backs, we have Josh Jacobs, who's got to be out there. No one else really is available.
He's right now just based on the numbers, he's a top 2 running back in fantasy.
Wild.
Oh
man, so it's one of those hindsight's 2020. You look back and you're like, dang, I should have drafted that guy. Was he a 4th round pick?
Yeah, he was like a 4th.
Dude,
I took him in a lot of best
out
ball
of camp,
leagues.
man. It's always the gosh darn camp talk. It scares you. It's like everything you were hearing is that they wanted to get Zamir White and Kenyon Drake and some other Brandon Bolden involved in the running game. And then they realized, and they declined his freaking, 5th-year option.
Right.
Which is cheaper than what they're going to have to pay him now if they got to keep him. Like, freaking horrible decision by them. And then Josh Jacobs comes out and has a career year. All the power to him, but he's got to get in your starting lineups. League winner. I like the pace that he's playing at. Like this should be an instant start on Thursday Night Football. If one position does well on Thursday Night Football, running back.
Yeah, he's gonna get 20 fantasy points.
I will forever not understand Josh McDaniels' obsession with the Zamir White guy. He probably personally went to his pro day and was like, "Dude, you're good.
You're a stud." It's not even Zamir White. Why is Brandon Bolden still on that team?
Guess it's as good as mine. They're carrying 6 running backs right now.
Amir Abdullah as well.
Imagine that. Like, I play in this stupid Madden league, and there's no injuries. Injuries are turned off. So, like, you can literally not carry a backup at any position.
Bro, Amir Abdullah
and I still carry backups. But, like, in real NFL, you need to carry backups. Why are you carrying 6?
Yeah, it makes no sense. It's an obsession with running backs. That's one of the reasons why people hated Josh Jacobs, though, was because it was just so many mouths to feed. But like Brandon Bolden's playing special teams, Zamir White's not really involved, and Abdullah's getting some pass catching, but it doesn't really matter. Jacob, they just use their whole offense runs through the running backs.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't run through the pass game; it runs through the running backs. So it allows Jacobs to be as good as he is, as well as Abdullah getting some work
Right.
and Zamir White sometimes as well.
At the wide receiver position, we have a couple of guys, Devontae Adams, Mac Hollins, who have been really good on the year. Hollins has been an okay plug-and-play secondary flex option if you needed him. Hunter Renfrow, injured. I don't know if he's going to be back for this game. I doubt it because it's a Thursday night football game.
I don't think he will.
So I'm going to say at this point, Adams obviously is a run and go. Like, he's been elite. Nothing's changed for him. It's amazing. You know, I thought two guys got traded this offseason, Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. And I really thought that they were going to just be garbage.
You know what the lesson is for that one? And I think it's kind of a trend with some guys, but for me at least, like, if you know they're a great player, you know they're like ridiculously talented or whatever, I feel like they're going to have at least some success no matter where they go.
Yeah.
Unless, you're at like the worst possible situation. If the situation's at least okay, the player will still be good. And I think Adams, like, and we said this in the offseason, like, oh, he's best friends with Derek Carr, but they had so many mouths to feed. I do think if Waller and Renfrow were healthy all year, I don't think Adams would be the wide receiver too.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would probably be like 5 or 6, which is kind of where we have him. So still good, but I think those injuries has kind of helped him for fantasy.
Yeah, right. So, but I think what's interesting is that those two guys went to different situations with lesser quarterbacks and still had success, which doesn't typically happen for wide receivers.
Right.
So, very interesting to see that trend. But yeah, obviously you got to start him. What are you doing with Mac Hollins in this game?
Oh gosh. He had 9 targets this past week. He's somebody that, like, if you're in deeper leagues or you need a flex, I think he's like a wide receiver 3 or 4. So you could plug and play him there. But, if you got a good team and you're kind of already set, you don't want to start Mac Hollins.
Yeah. Like I agree 1000% with Rick. It's a plug and play type of thing. Lots of bye weeks this week. So against the Rams,
I mean, if you got a bye week, I'm okay with plugging him in at flex.
Yeah. Against the Rams, who have not been great against the pass.
No, and Ramsey's going to be
not good against wide receivers, I should say. They make quarterbacks struggle for whatever reason, but the wide receiver position, they get a lot of points. So I would be okay with Matt Collins this week against the Rams, but it's not like a sexy play, especially on Thursday night.
Right.
Foster Moreau has shown signs of life and success at tight end for them. Waller continues to be on IR. So as long as that's the case, Foster Moreau is the starting tight end. Are you starting him in this game against the Rams?
Probably not. I mean, he's in the same category as like Evan Ingram, Greg Dulcich or whatever. The guys we talked about on the waiver wire show. It's the last couple of weeks he's gotten 13, 4, 12, 4. So like good week, bad week, good week, bad week. It's purely touchdown dependent for him.
Yeah.
So again, you got bye weeks. There's nobody really out there on the waiver wire. I'm okay with starting Foster Moreau, but outside of that, I'm not starting him.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move on to the Los Angeles Rams and talk about some guys on that team. I believe so. Interesting situation. Matt Stafford done. I would say he's shut down at this point.
It's already announced he's not playing. He's out for the year.
Yeah, so he's done. Wolford came back and actually was mid against the Seahawks this week, but he got hurt.
He did throw 2 interceptions.
He threw 2 interceptions, but
no touchdowns.
He got hurt in this game as well. And Bryce Perkins had to come in. So what's the situation with Wolford? Do we know if he's active or?
The latest I know is that he didn't practice on Monday.
Okay, so I mean, Wolford with the offense was a little bit better for fantasy than Perkins was, because Perkins was awful. This could be another team. They're one of the worst teams in the league right now, and this could be a team that. But there's no real. The problem is the Rams are at a point right now where they don't have the pick, so they can't really tank.
No, they can't.
And so do they go after Baker and try to win some football games now and build some confidence back in this team that has lost a lot?
Do they even have their own 2nd round pick?
I don't know. I don't think so. So do you go after Baker in the claim and run with him because he's a better quarterback than any of these scrubs that you have on your team right now?
I mean, I don't know. They might.
Is it worth it, or is it just worth it shutting it down? And I don't know. I don't know if they would do it. Like, they're such in a weird predicament where it's like a normal team would be like, all right, we're 3-9, 5 games left in the season. There's no chance for us to make the playoffs. Like, time to shut it down. But they also don't have the pick situation to deal with. So it's like, do they try to win football games for morale? I don't know. But this could be a spot where Baker goes. He definitely wouldn't play this week.
They don't have their first. They do have their second and third, so that's good for them. They don't have their fourth or fifth either, though.
Okay, so their second's basically a first-round pick.
Yeah, right now 34th overall. I mean, so that's good, but still.
But if they get Baker, he wouldn't play this week, so we're probably looking, if I had to guess, it's going to be Bryce Perkins, and you saw what that calamity was last time he played. So for fantasy assets, like if Wolford's not playing and it is Bryce Perkins, like
dude, even if it's Wolford, I don't like it.
Are you running Cam Akers?
I don't want to.
Because you're not running a quarterback, obviously. It just makes me wonder with Cam Akers because he had that 19 points.
I mean, look.
Because the Raiders suck. The Raiders' D is not good. So it's like, this is a good matchup for fantasy.
Yeah. I know it's a good match. But I could see the Raiders might look like the 85 Bears on defense against this Rams team. I mean seriously,
the Seahawks didn't.
The Seahawks didn't? No, that's true. But the Seahawks defense is, I mean, maybe if it's Wolf.
I mean, it would be fair that the Seahawks defense didn't give up a lot of points to the Rams, but
if it's Wolfhard, then I mean, the Rams could score like 16, 17 points. Mm-hmm. If it's, I don't know if it's I don't know, dude. Maybe they get 10 to 17. I think Akers. Do you want to start Cam Akers?
No.
He has 3 catches on the season.
The question is, do you? Like, you're in a situation where you have a bye this week. No. You got to make the playoffs, and you have Cam Akers on the bench.
Well, okay, you have Alvin Kamara.
Are you okay with that, or are you going with somebody else?
If I had Alvin Kamara, and I didn't have any running back depth,
all right,
and Cam Akers was my only bench running back,
this is a good matchup, dude. It's all greens.
And I look what's out in the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm.
I probably do start Cam Akers. That's the only. But even then, dude, like he's probably not going to be ranked in my top. I don't know, 25 running backs this week.
Fair enough.
So maybe not even top 30.
We'll see. At the wide receiver position, we continue this torrential downpour of suck. Tutu Atwell is actually, I'm going to throw him out there, not necessarily as a
dynasty stash. Football.
I do have him stashed in a dynasty league. He's starting to look okay in certain aspects of the game, but he's only a field stretcher, so it's not like.
I was surprised they haven't used him more.
Yeah, I agree.
Up until like now, they're starting to use him before. Yeah, he's a little shifty. They took him in the second round and never used him.
Yeah, just total Rams things. It's probably what they took him, and then they were like, "This guy blows. Let's just trade him."
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
That's exactly what happened. Van Jefferson is okay. I mean, here's the thing: Van Jefferson, against the Rams, like the Raiders. I mean, this is like a matchup where I'd normally be like, "Yeah, sure, Van Jefferson." It's on Thursday night. They don't have a quarterback. Their offense is not going to move the ball too well. And it's like, I don't want anything to do with any of these receivers.
He also had 5 against the Seahawks, which should also be a great matchup.
So, any of these wide receivers are you going with? Because I'm going to say no.
Nope.
I mean, they started.
All right, you got to start one. You have to start one.
Van Jefferson.
Me too.
So, but A-Rob, don't get us wrong with that question, though. Don't start anyone. I'm telling you right now, Van Jefferson is like an outside flanker receiver, so he's not going to at best. I think the one receiving option is the tight end position, and we'll talk about that in a second because the kid is young, and he's just going to throw it to the tight end because it's easier that way. But I mean, this Rams team started the season with Allen Robinson and Cooper Kupp.
I know.
And now
Gosh.
they got the number one. Like, how fast can you go from the Super Bowl champion, number one team in the league to garbage? Like, this team tanked fast. It was quick.
Yeah. They really did. I mean, like 3 or 4 weeks ago when they had everybody healthy, they had a bad record, but people were like, they're still in it.
Right.
And now they've just completely fallen apart.
And the funny thing is that Odell completely fell off that list.
Yeah.
It was like,
there's rumors about him going back.
So anyway, nobody at the wide receiver position I would start. At tight end, I would consider Tyler Higbee. He's been good on the season at times. He's also busted at times. So like it's a risky play. But like I said, I do think that a guy like Bryce Perkins or John Wolford would try to get the tight end involved. So I don't mind Higbee in this game if you don't have a tight end.
I don't love him, but sure.
So
sure.
This is the one, like, there's been some games where we've been like, okay, there's some fantasy
Even
assets.
Houston, dude, we had Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, I'm like, but this game, there is literally no one for like, I'm going to start Cam Akers. Like, I think it's a good play. But, like, outside of that, this is gross.
It's really bad.
Rams are in a bad place now that I look at this roster. Holy crap, dude. This looks like what Matt Stafford dealt with the freaking Lions all those years.
Yeah, even worse.
Right, even worse. So
I mean, they'll be next year. They'll have. Well, we'll see if everybody comes
with
back.
Those guys, see, this is
but...
what I don't like about the Rams. To talk about the Rams for a second, is that they last season had one of the best offenses and one of the best defenses in the NFL. Like, that's the reason why they won the Super Bowl. They were probably the best all-around team, right? And they come in this year, and for the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, when everyone was healthy, they looked like crap.
Right.
Like, they looked horrible. And everyone got hurt, so everyone's going to be like, oh, well, it was because of the injuries. No, they just sucked. Like,
they did. They sucked with everybody. But, I mean, even when they had everybody, they were at least, like, 500. Yeah. Like, they would have been, like, a 7-8 win team.
With everyone.
Which still isn't good.
That's a calamity. It's not, that's a big failure.
I know, but it's better than what this is. This is a joke.
And somehow Vegas has an insider information here that is like 44 points. Who's scoring the points? Well, the Raiders.
I don't know.
30-10.
They must think it's a 30-10 Raiders.
35-7.
That's 40. I mean, like, I'm glad you said that, bro. I might bet the under. What happens?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is going on here? That is on DraftKings, right?
Yeah.
Okay. 44-point over under for this game. So, I mean, either way, if it's within a couple of points of the over under, there's still some scoring in this game. I don't know what the Rams are going to do, but I think the Raiders will be fine. I think this should be a good game for the Raiders. I'll say that. Like, if the Raiders don't win this game, which might happen, I would be like, wow, that team blows. So,
oh yeah, no. If the Raiders lose this one, they're
But,
I mean, they're done anyway, mathematically, pretty much. But they're really they're done all around.
All right, Rick, give me a pick. Who you taking in this game?
I have to take the Raiders, dude. I'm so out on the Rams.
Okay, I'm gonna take the Rams.
Okay, yeah, you just looked at that whole team, that whole roster, and you're gonna take the Rams.
Bryce Perkins is gonna win the game for him in overtime. No,
McVay's gonna
it'll probably be the
steal
Raiders, but it is what it is. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Bye.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Fantasy Champions Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on iTunes and YouTube, and follow us on Twitter @TheFFChamps.